What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Sensei Late Glove, the bald head black anime nerd, back with my review of One Piece manga chapter 977. The party won't start now. And I know I haven't done a review for One Piece, I think for the last 2 chapters maybe. No, I definitely didn't do one for the last chapter. With all the shit going on with Corona and shit like that, it's just been a whole bunch of crazy shit. I've been bottled up in the house, just trying to stay free of all these sick ass niggas. But unfortunately, niggas know that niggas still gotta go to the store and do shit. Last chapter was interesting, but as some of my followers, maybe none of my followers know, I have a slight disdain and dislike for Jinbei. And as we know, he returns in the last chapter. Not that I was upset that he returned, but I'm upset that he returned with no, explanation. The chapter starts out with everybody being excited that Jinbei is back. Luffy and them trying to have a big ass banquet, and asks, how you been? This nigga Jinbei says, yeah, I carried the Sun Pirates back to Fishman Island, and we partied and everything before I left. So wait a minute, nigga. This is one of the reasons why I don't like this nigga. Not really. But how the fuck does this nigga decide to go his ass home? He's literally showed up virtually unscathed. I still need an explanation for this, Oda. If you listening, you have some explaining to do, bro. We partied with the Sun Pirates means absolutely nothing here, bro. How the fuck do you leave with these niggas, go to the crib, go party, meanwhile the captain of the crew that you just joined getting smacked the fuck around by Kaido and thrown into a jail? What in the fuck, nigga? You was partying? You fucked around, pulled up, drunk as hell. Talking about some fucking, it was time for me to reintroduce myself. Get your lame ass out of here, bro. I literally don't like Jinbei. I'm happy that he's finally joined the crew, but I really wanted something with a little bit more substance, man. And if Oda does not explain this, give an explanation for what happened after they left Whole Cake, if I'm just to understand that it was a battle and they got away, no, because the scene made it seem like it was something completely different. And if that's not the case, Oda needs to tell me straight up, because the world needs to know. Because this whole I was just partying with the Sun Pirates shit before I pulled up on your ass 2-3 weeks later, no, that shit is not gonna fly with me at all. The rest of the chapter goes on. Basically, Kinemon, who, as we know from my last review, is basically playing this role I knew that all of this shit was gonna play out this way, and they've been really hammering on that, and that shit has been absolutely hilarious to me, with him basically explaining, all right, so the plan is this, and then when he says the plan, yeah, we're just gonna go up in there and get Kaido while he's drunk, Denjiro comes out like, oh yeah, that was the plan that Kanjuro knew. It's like, fuck, oh, he knew that plan too. So there was no real plan. So essentially, he's basically conversing with Law, trying to figure out, all right, what would work here? Because obviously Law separated himself from the group. Shout out to Law, because that nigga's smart. He synced it. He synced it was a traitor and was like, nah, let me not be around and let me figure shit out on my own, because you niggas clearly got a bug that y'all not dealing with. So shout out to Law. I also love that in that scene where they're discussing the plan, they essentially ignored the shit out of the Straw Hats. And the funny thing is, as I was reading it, I'm like, please don't try to tell Luffy to come over here and listen to this plan, because we know that Luffy's not going to listen to the plan. So instead of Oda doing that, he chose to have Law sit there and say, please don't involve them in this plan, because they're not going to do anything involving the plan. It's pointless to plan with them, is what he said, which was fucking great. So they ignored him and went over the plan with themselves. And Law's basically saying, yeah, we have these 2 idiots, referring to Luffy and Kid, to basically be the world's biggest distractions while we do whatever we want to do. Essentially, the plan is to split up, go in through the back, go in through the front, go in through sideways, where they aren't going to see it coming, while Luffy and Kid are basically rampaging. We, as the reader, know that's a pretty valid rampage, because them niggas is strong as shit. It's not like they weak and gonna get stopped at the door. They gonna get pretty far in, realistically. Like, we know how that's gonna go. And meanwhile, while they're explaining the plan and go over it, Kinemon's like, yeah, that's what it is. Denjiro gassing them. It's just so funny seeing that dynamic of, the grown-up Denjiro, who's still kind of like a kid, to Kinemon, who they damn near the same age, if not, Denjiro's probably older than him, but it's still that dynamic that they have, where it's like the kid looking up to the older brother or some shit like that. Like, I still fuck with that. Luffy and the rest of the crew basically take off to get to Onigashima, or get to the guardians of Onigashima, the people who guard the gates and control whether people can enter or not. They run off and fuck all them niggas up. We get this nice long spread panel of each one of the Straw Hats except the Weakling Trio, which was hilarious, knocking out a different guardian, or just fodder ass fucking characters. Let's be real, they're fodder. Knocking out all these fodder characters, and it was cool seeing these little techniques, punches here, Jinbei with his little slash or whatever, punch to the face, whatever the fuck he did. Sanji casually kicking, Zoro with his cuts. Fuck, even Brook was getting in that bitch, Frankie was getting in that bitch, and meanwhile, Nami, Chopper, and Usopp were just looking over the side of the ship. That shit was fucking hilarious. I love it. But they did that because, you know, they're excited about Jinbei. They're like, okay, we needed some liquor. We didn't have any liquor, didn't have any food. And Luffy proclaims, like, yeah, so we're gonna deal with Kaido, we're gonna deal with Big Mom, we're gonna deal with Orochi, and then we're gonna have the biggest feast ever. As soon as he said that, I thought to myself, this shit is not gonna go the way that this nigga think it's gonna go. So I have all hopes that this arc ends tragically, and there is no big banquet. One, because I would like for something to be a little bit different from the typical, you know, big bad of the arc. We beat them, we have a banquet, and then we leave, we escape or whatever. I liked it to be somewhat different than that if it can be. And then two, because that shit is just too fucking telegraphed. Like, it's too telegraphed for it to go wrong. Literally. Like, he never states that that's what's gonna happen. It just happens that way. So when he states it, it's like, all right, nah, you niggas about to lose. Somebody finna die. It's not finna be lit. I did enjoy that they finally showed Killer in this arc. Still, you know, not controlled, but still under the influence of the smile fruit, doing the fa thing, but they did give him his mask back, so that's a little bit better. It seems like his crew members are basically kind of encouraging it, making it seem like it's not that bad, like we'll laugh with you type shit. I don't think his whole crew was fed devil fruits, but if his whole crew was fed devil fruits, that shit'd be crazy. I can't wait to see more Kid, like, as this shit, like, kicks off and goes on, because I just know that shit gonna be fucking lit. Like, I know this nigga gonna be lit. The way that Oda's portraying him now with this whole I'm gonna beat you Straw Hat shit is getting kind of tired, but I'm waiting for him to have a moment where it's like, nah, Kid took out all these niggas already. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, some shit like that. I can't wait for that in its entirety, because I think that's gonna be lit. But I do, to some extent, enjoy this little rivalry between Luffy and Kid. I can't wait to see kind of where that goes in the climax of this story. Meeting back up with Kaido and the Beast Pirates and seeing what the fuck they got going on right now. Queen is basically saying, I want some more food. We see that Kaido makes a statement saying, my son. And this is what really got everybody in the uproar, because my son, like, that's why we really gotta wait till the official comes out. But my son, like, who are you talking about? A lot of people think Katakuri. He's asking, like, is he gonna peep out? I don't think it's Katakuri, because that's too much. Like, Oda, you know how Oda does with these things. Like, it's too much of an obvious thing for it to be Katakuri. But in that same motion, he was asking, like, is he gonna peek out? I want to see him. It's a banquet, for crying out loud. In that same kind of panel, we see that the Flying Six have arrived. Kaido's alerted that the Flying Six have arrived, and they want an audience. And then Kaido essentially says, all right, I want Big Mom to see them first, have them come through. I kind of think that one of his son, if it's not somebody brand fucking new, is somebody that we know already that's a part of the Flying Six that we didn't know was a part of the Flying Six. But I don't think it's Katakuri, ultimately. I don't see that being a good plot point. I know a lot of people feel as though him even having a son is just too much added onto this already weighted plot. But I really don't think it means that much. If his son just ends up being an auxiliary person to the Beast Pirates, then what the fuck ever. Like, he doesn't need his own story. He's just gonna be a person that has to be defeated. But nevertheless, the Flying Six have arrived. We obviously see the boots that belong to X-Drake. I think I saw the legs of Page One. There was a chick legs. There was some other motherfuckers with a sword. Looked like he had on like a little kimono joint. So I'm excited to see what the Flying Six look like. They were introduced as a thing back when Sanji fought Page One. Page One and Drake are part of the Flying Six. So the other four of them niggas, I am excited to see. And I really want to know if this is really like, you know, a Kaido's son type of thing. I'm excited to see that. I think that it would just play out the same way Katakuri would. Like, or not the same way, but he would play a similar role to Katakuri, except that he wouldn't end up being the final boss. He would just be a person that has to lose, like a Blue No level character or something like that. That just so happens to be Kaido's son. He doesn't have to have a storyline, a backstory. We don't even need to give a fuck about who his mother is. Like, none of that shit has to be a thing. You could just be Kaido's son that he had shortly after Odin died or whatever, and then that just be it, honestly. And I don't think that would damage the story or enhance it in any other way other than just this is a thing. Big Mom's putting on a kimono and that shit's gross, but other than that, I actually enjoyed this chapter aside from Jinbei being trash as fuck. It was cool. I think the ending was the most surprising. It's the most confusing. It's the most thing to be talked about. But overall, I think it was a solid chapter. I give it like a 7. Like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. It was solid, but Jinbei fucking trash. And I'm gonna harp on that nigga until he really proves to me that he that nigga. Like, I know he's that nigga, but don't fucking party with your homies and then come link up with the crew later, high as hell, drunk as hell, tweaking, bro. That shit lame. Get your ass out of here, nigga. I hate that nigga. But nevertheless, like I said, solid chapter, guys. I'm very excited to see. I'm so happy that we finally got to Onigashima. I know that we're, like, with all this corona shit that's going on, we're not going to have a chapter next week. I think we're going to be on break next week. And then we're supposed to be getting, like, a double chapter and then another break for, like, 2 weeks or some shit like that. So, yeah, I don't know the next time we're going to get a One Piece chapter, but I definitely wanted to do this one. It was definitely solid. Can't wait to see more Kid. Can't wait to see the Straw Hats go even more crazy. I love that panel with them in this chapter. Can't wait to see Law go crazy. I really want to know why we haven't seen the Big Mom Pirates yet. Where the fuck are they at? When are we gonna see them? So that's my question. Like, comment, subscribe, fuck with the kids, Sensei Lay Glove. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sensei Lay Glove. Let me know what your thoughts of my review down in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts of the chapter were. Hit me up on my socials, man. Suggest any content you guys want me to do. We at the crib, so I'm really up for anything. I'm back in my creative mode, so fuck with me. Shout out to everybody that pull up for Gloves Off, man. If you guys got any controversial topics you want me and some of the panels to talk about, definitely hit me with any of those controversial topics, either in the comments or hit me on social media, and I'll definitely pull them up for Gloves Off. Stay tuned for the next Gloves Off, because it's going to be a crazy one. I haven't decided on a date yet, but just know that shit coming. Other than that, Sensei Lay Glove, out.